Call this meeting to order. Stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to the June 24th work session for the Windom School Board. And any additions or corrections for the agenda?
None.
If not, a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Joe, second by Bruce. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Public hearing on the tax abatement for the Jeremy and Stephanie Bueller proposed house. Excuse me. Anybody have any comments or wish to speak on that? If not, we'll move on to item number 5, which is the resolution to approve the tax abatement for the property for the Buellers. Somebody care to introduce that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Being a resolution, that would be a roll call vote. Start with Joe.
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Bruce.
Yes.
Barb.
Yes.
Angela.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item number 6 is approved project application and project certificate for payment, building and parking lot abatement payments. And that information was actually sent out by Kitty this afternoon or this morning or something, so if you had time to check those or if you have questions on those, Peggy or Wayne can probably answer. Questions? Then we would entertain a motion to accept those.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same? Motion passes. Item number 7. Approved building project change order number 3, which is the tackable wall surface and bollards, and that was enclosed in your packet also. This change order, as was sent out, is to our benefit as it appeared on 2 of the contractor's bids. So the one was withdrawn. That's in the amount of $5,902. Somebody?
I move we approve the building change order number 3.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any questions? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Motion passes. Item number 8 is also a building project change order. This is number 4 for a change order, and it's removal of the magnetic plastic laminate installation. And that's in the amount of $26,400 credit to our building program because that was also a double on the bids.
I move that we approve change order number 4, removal of the magnetic plastic laminate installation.
I second it.
Okay, motion Dustin, second Bruce to approve that change order number 4. Any questions on that one?
KA is finding all these as they go through the bids and fine tooth comb. So we had one like a few weeks ago, and now these are 2 more. So, when all those big bids came in, it would, they couldn't get through them all. Now they're getting through them.
Or somebody submitted that day of that bid, they submitted for 2 projects inside that, so it's double bid.
So
Is this quite normal on a building project?
My understanding, yes, it is more often with the bid packs with that. Takes place where someone bids 2 different packs inside that, and there's no overlap. We should probably have a few more, and then we'll probably finish up.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll proceed to vote on that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Approve a letter of recommendation from Carl Sanderson for commissioning services for Hallberg Engineering.
Closing the packet is the email that we received. We had a budget of $75,000. Bid came in at $52,470. Cooper bid $56,495. Dunham had an incomplete quote or bid for that, so that one was rejected. So we're looking at approving the commissioning for this at $52,470. Under budget on that.
Motion to approve it.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Joe, second by Angie. Any questions on that?
Is this, the commissioning, is that something that happens, did that happen on the remodel too?
Yep,
With
there's a commissioning on that, yes.
Okay.
We talk about the addition and
Yep.
remodel, yep.
Yep. So I was wondering whether this was another,
Different company entirely
right,
and process
okay.
than 19 years ago.
Any other questions? If not, we'll proceed to vote on that motion. All in favor, motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Local literary plan. I believe Mrs. Frank is going to talk about that.
Good evening, board members. I have for you the local literacy plan that gets submitted to MDE every year. Per statute 120B12, school districts are required to develop a local literacy plan that all students are reading well by the end of third grade. The plan must include a plan to assess the student's level reading proficiency, notify and involve parents, intervene with students who are not reading above grade level, and identify and meet staff development needs. And so reading proficiency is defined as students reading confidently, fluently, and accurately, as well as communicating understanding of grade level fiction and nonfiction materials. There were several components to the local literacy plan that I'm going to talk about tonight with you. The first one is the district goals. Cindy Wallen talked a lot about the goals last time we met, so I won't spend a lot of time on this, but these are the same goals that you saw in the QComp plan as well. The next part of the local literacy plan is the assessment system, which is really three-tiered. We use STAR and FastBridge as universal screeners. We use formative and summative assessments regularly in the classroom to determine proficiency on standards. And we use progress monitoring for students that are not performing at grade level so that we can see how they are doing and if our interventions are working. I'm going to take a moment to talk about one of our most valuable formative assessments that we use. It is called the oral reading records. And so the goal is to make sure that every child is reading exactly at his or her level. And so there's two parts to that. So children have an independent level. So when they're reading by themselves, we need them reading with at least 98% accuracy. And they also have an instructional level, which means the teacher is right there to help the child in a small group setting. And so for the instructional level, children can be reading at 90% accuracy or above. So then the challenge becomes, well, how do we figure out the levels for each child, right? And so we use oral reading records. And so every book that we have for benchmark literacy has an oral reading record that goes with it. So in front of you, you have just a normal piece of paper, and that is an oral reading record. It has the exact same text on it that you would find in the book. And so it's simple in that the student reads from the book and the teacher marks miscues on the paper in front of you, marking the errors, and then we determine why the errors were made. When the child is done reading the book, there are comprehension questions on the back side that the teacher asks. And so not only are we assessing whether or not the child is reading the text, but is the child understanding the text as well. right? So once a combination of accuracy and comprehension is put together, we determine exactly where the child should be reading independently and instructionally. And then the children go book shopping. And so I included a picture in the PowerPoint here of children book shopping. Okay, if you've been in Windfair lately, you will notice we have oodles and oodles and oodles of books that are leveled. So each one of these baskets has a letter level on it. And so if a particular child is reading at a level F, they book shop in the F bin. And they put all of their books in their browser bins so that when it comes time for Daily 5, they practice reading at exactly the right level. There's a lot of research around that is how we progress through the developmental milestones for reading. So that is our most valuable formative assessment that we have. Then we go on to progress monitoring. So if a child is not reading at grade level, we intervene, we provide interventions, we dig deep and we figure out, where is the breakdown happening? Is it a phonics skill that they're lacking? Is it a sight words that they're lacking? And then we provide interventions. Tier 2 students are monitored every other week, and Tier 3 students are monitored every single week. Okay, so I'll give you an example of what that looks like. Okay, so all of these dots are progress monitoring, right? So the weeks are along the bottom, and then this is how the child was doing week by week by week. These blue dots and this trend line right here are from the first time that we gave the universal screener, which would have been in September. And then the red line is from January on to the rest of the year. So what do you notice about that graph?
Going up.
It's going up.
It's going up in accuracy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can look at this and say, right here is the trend line that FAST tells us that we want this child, based on where he or she started, we want this child to follow the trend line. Well, the great news is that the child's actually performing above that, right? Mm-hmm. So that is very positive news. This dotted blue line is actually grade level. So this child is very, very close to performing at grade level. Can we say that the intervention is working? I would say yes. Yes. We have.
How do you test comprehension? With a test then?
This one, this particular test just uses questions.
Questions, but I mean, how, generally speaking, do you test comprehension with a test? Like you brought up that little folder, that little.
You mean on this one, Joe?
This.
For the whole reading record?
No, that. Is that a test?
This is just a book.
But it's not a test. Huh? There's no test with it, huh?
Well,
Comprehension?
the test goes with the piece of paper that you have in front of you. So if you look closely at that, you'll see questions that assess comprehension.
On the back side, Joe, if you
On the
flip that over,
backside, yeah.
you can see that.
Here?
It's signed to
the
a
other one.
specific book.
Oh,
No,
this
that's
one.
the agenda.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay,
Assigned to that book.
so the next part of the plan talks about communication with families, community, and the annual reporting process. So in this piece of the plan, I showcased our family engagement nights. I talked about the Seesaw app that we use to communicate with our parents. I talked about entrance conferences, fall conferences, and spring conferences, as well as the Windfair Eagle Soar Facebook page. So if you read through the plan, you'll see all of those things in there. The next part of the local literacy plan talks about curriculum and instruction. And so I just outlined the balanced literacy framework that we've been using for 4 years now that works really, really well and is solid in research. So we have a 10-minute read aloud to model the comprehension strategy. We have a 20-minute mini lesson, and then the bulk of the time is really spent in small groups where teachers can meet the needs of every student by differentiating the instruction. There's a phonics block and a writer's workshop block that go along with that. So you can see there's many, many minutes spent within that literacy block. All right, the next part of the report was the multi-tiered systems of support. And so this really talks about our Eagle time. Okay. Our Eagle time is a 30-minute intervention block per grade level every single day. So I call it an all hands on deck time, right? Everyone works together to meet the needs of the students in that grade level. So we have classroom teachers, intervention teachers, SPED, paras, everyone working together, delivering purposeful interventions based on the data. All right, the next part of the local literacy plan talks about supporting professional development. At Windfair, we're very fortunate because we get out of school at 3:05, actually make that 2:05 on Fridays, and so we actually get 75 minutes of PLC time every single week, and we use that time very wisely. We examine the data, just like I showed you tonight with the progress monitoring graphs. We discuss core instruction together, and our teachers really learn from each other. All of our teachers have participated in the balanced literacy training paired with the daily cafe training. They receive support from me, the instructional coach, the peer engagement coaches, and the tech integrationists. And QComp also provides professional development every year. All right, in a nutshell, we want our students to be proficient, independent, lifelong readers with a positive attitude toward reading. Successful literacy development creates a love of learning, prepares students for intermediate and post-secondary education, and paves the way for meaningful employment and a productive, successful, rewarding life. For annual reporting, we just need the school board to approve the local literacy plan by July 1st. The local literacy plan is part of the world's best workforce, and you'll see that again by December 1st. The local literacy plan will be posted on our district website as soon as you approve that. I will get that done. And then the last thing on here is the link to the actual plan in case you want to read the whole thing instead of just getting a summarization of it. All right, what questions do you have?
Any questions for Mrs. Frank?
Are any of the reading books or materials on iPads or digital?
Yes.
They are.
They all of them are. So with Benchmark Literacy, we purchased Benchmark Universe as well, which is their online database, and so every book is there, which comes in really handy because sometimes you have a third grader, for example, who's reading at a level T, which might be like a 4th or 5th grade level, and so you access the books online because we don't always have the exact levels that we would need.
Yeah, that's
do
a
the
good thing.
assessment.
Or if more than one student wants the
Yeah.
same book and there might be only one hard copy. Well, good.
Yeah.
Other questions? Do we need a motion to accept that local literacy plan?
Move approval?
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second to accept the plan. It's presented by Mrs. Frank. Any other questions? Now proceed to vote on that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passes. Thank you. Number 11, receive a recommendation for the 612 middle high school assistant principal. And after interviews and stuff, superintendent's recommendation is to approve Mrs. Paula Walter Madsen for that position. A motion to that effect, please.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Joe, second by Justin, to Mrs. Paula Walter as, Madsen as the assistant principal at middle school, high school. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passes. Item number 12 is the recommendation to approve assistant to the athletic director for 2019-20. And your agenda material explained what this would involve. And superintendent is recommending Mrs. Cheryl Hannafield because of her previous experience as an activities director for this position. A motion to that effect, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dustin, second by Angie. Any questions on that? This is for 1 year.
Yep, we'll reevaluate
Yeah,
the athletic director and assistant athletic director position at that time. I'm sorry, activities director. For this is coming out of previously slotted budget amount where we have our extra supervision for this, and it'd take place between 3 and 6 p.m. When our assistant principal AD would be most busy with IEP meetings and staff meetings to make sure junior high events got off and everything else.
Is this considered full-time?
No, this is just a stipend. This is a stipend, just like a activities a stipend, such as a speech teacher, things like that, but for assistant, just a stipend for the year.
That stipend would be like $4,500.
And money-wise, was it like to watch that? We're still sitting good at around that $11,000 savings for the
Oh, yeah.
structuring. Great.
From before that with that structure we had before. Yeah. We're better than that now.
Great.
We're gaining. Other questions? If not, all in favor of the motion to recommend Mrs. Hannafield as the assistant to the activities director. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Item number 13 is to approve the hiring of Marcy Anderson as special ed behavior interventionist para at Wind Fair, 7.25 hours per day for the 1920 school year. And that information was also enclosed in your packet. Motion to approve.
It's not
it.
at Winfair.
I'm sorry, does that say at Winfair? I'm sorry, that's at middle school, high
Middle
school.
school, high school.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Oh, it did say at Winfair in the agenda. I didn't just catch that till right now.
Middle school, high school, not Wind Fair.
Okay.
Motion to approve that.
Move approval?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the hiring of Marcy Anderson for the intervention or special ed intervention para. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion carries. Approve the hiring of Janice Bissett as a special ed EBD teacher beginning 2019-20 school year. That information was also enclosed in your packet.
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Dustin, second by Angie, to approve the hiring of Janice Bissett. All in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Item number 15, approve the hiring of Katie Olson as a kindergarten teacher effective with the 1920 school year. And her resume was also enclosed in your packet. Motion to approve that.
So move.
Second.
Motion Joe, second Bruce. Any questions on that? Not all in favor of hiring Katie Olson as a kindergarten teacher, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passes. Item number 16, approve the hiring of Jackie Turner as a long-term fax sub beginning August 24th this year through about 11/17. And that information was also enclosed in your packet. Motion to approve that.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Bruce, second by Angie. Any questions on that? Not all in favor of the motion? Oh,
I approved it. I was number one.
He was.
Bruce,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Joe.
Okay, Joe.
Yep.
for the record.
Or else we have to change it.
All in favor of the motion then to hire Jackie Turner as long-term sub in the fax department? Say aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carries. Item number 17, approve fiscal year 20 Adventure Club salaries effective with July 1st of this year.
We made one adjustment to salary schedule on this. You'll see with Adventure Club Supervisor Lori Haugen for the rate that supervising that at this time, and everything else was within the 3 to 3.5% range, approximately. Other than that, it's well within that budget. Correct, Peggy?
Motion to approve that.
Move approval.
Second.
Second.
Barb, you have it.
Motion by Angie, second by Barb, to approve the Adventure Club salaries effective July 1st of this year. Any questions? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Item number 18th is July 8th meeting date. And information item on that.
We will be needing that meeting date. Hopefully, we'll hire a .1 or .81 social studies teacher at that time, possibly an instructional coach at that time. We'll be approving the principal's contract and also the office staff contracts agreement for that for raises. So I've sent the information out on both those preliminary on the contracts, and we hope to have the other two positions. So it'll be a very short meeting, hopefully about 4 action items. 5 if we're really lucky, if everything pans out, but I'm guessing we'll still have one more hire at that time. Still left to do after that for teaching.
So then the July 8th meeting will go on as scheduled at 6:30 here at the City Council chambers.
It should be extremely short, A, because I won't be here, and B, because the agenda will be short.
It'll be short, be shorter, yep,
Will we have a majority here?
Anybody who cannot make January 8th.
July.
July 8th. That's a little bit later than we need, I guess. Yeah. That may cause some problems with staffing.
He made the same mistake I did.
Yeah. I can't tell months, Joe can't tell days of the week. There we go. July 8th.
Okay,
So we have a quorum.
will we have a quorum? Anybody that knows they will not be present?
I think
Should
I'll
be here.
Okay.
Okay,
Please
we're good.
tell us if you cannot be, so we make sure we have a quorum of 4. It's very quick routine business on the whole thing, so just need to have 4 here for that.
Any other items the board has? Otherwise, we will go into closed session to discuss teacher negotiation strategies per Minnesota statute 13D.03. A motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second to go into closed session. At the end of the closed session, we will reopen the meeting and adjourn, so there'll be no other action items or items discussed. So, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.